these are the fights I would add to the UFC 306 main card to make it a better fight main card for the Spear and UFC Noche. So right now the UFC main card for UFC 306 is Sean O'Malley versus Merab, Alexa Grasso versus Valentino Shevchenko, and Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega. And those three fights are great. But then you go down the card a little bit more. It's Esteban Rivovic and Daniel Zellhuber versus. So that fight's really not that great for a UFC fight night. That would be great for a main card, but not for a pay-per-view card of UFC 306's caliber. And then Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. And Ode Osborne really should not be on any UFC main events. He's hasn't really fought on a UFC numbered card since UFC 268, which was Usman versus Covington. So that shows how long he hasn't been on a UFC numbered card. It's not like he's been winning his fights, he's been losing them. So I know the theme is UFC Noche, and they want all Mexican fighters for the most part on the main card. But there's better Mexican fighters to be had on the main card. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some good Mexican fighters and some good fights to the main card. We're going to be replacing Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Rivovic and Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne. To replace Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne, I would have Yair Rodriguez versus Arnold Allen. Yair Rodriguez is known as a contender in the flyweight division. Arnold Allen is known as a contender. Yair Rodriguez is one of the biggest Mexican fighters as of the moment. Right now, the current Mexican fighters that I think of are Yair Rodriguez, Brandon Moreno, and Alexa Grasso. So why not have all three of them on the card? Um, so this would be a very good fight to add to the card. Their styles would clash. We all know how fun Yair Rodriguez is, and Arnold Allen's always down for a good fight. So this would be the first fight I would add to the UFC 306 main card to make it a more entertaining card. And I do think it's a shame that we don't have ranked matchups on the main card for two of the fights. Dana White's been talking about he's investing millions of dollars into the card, how it's going to be once in a lifetime card for all the fans, and he's charging $80 for the pay-per-view. But the biggest names aren't on the card. It's lacking the star power. Um, so add this fight. It's a better quality fight, better star power. Let's get on to the next. The next fight I would add is Brandon Moreno versus Tyra. Brandon Moreno's always a contender in the flyweight division. Tyra's up and coming. I think Tyra needs one more fight before he can challenge for the UFC belt, and I think Brandon Moreno, if he can get a win here, he deserves to challenge for the belt as well. Um, Tyra's up and coming. I think if he could get a win here, it would be huge for him. We don't really know how good he is. He fought Alex Perez. He got like a TKO in the second round, but it was more of a kind of a freak accident. Alex Perez kind of fell and had a leg injury. I think that helped end the fight. And Tyra was kind of getting pieced up on the feet. So this would be very exciting to see if Brandon Moreno can exploit Tyra on the feet. We know both of these guys are elite grapplers. We've seen Brandon Moreno showcase his grappling against guys like Davidson Figueiredo. So I think these would be the two fights I would add to UFC 306 to fix the card. Still keep Ode Osborne, keep Esteban Rijovic on the card, just move him down to the prelims. And then now we have a stacked main card. We have Sean O'Malley on the main card, we have Brandon Moreno, we have Diego Lopez, and we have Yair. Those are some of the biggest Mexican and South American fans. It's UFC Noche. Dana White's hyping up this card. So give the fans something to be hype about. So those are the fights I would add.